Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli wa nusallimu ala rasulihil kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Dear viewers, welcome back. And yes, we were talking about crisis intervention. In our previous video, which you must watch, we figured out what exactly defines a crisis. What do we call a crisis? How do we know when someone we love, someone we care for, maybe a student, maybe our child, a niece, a nephew, a cousin, a friend, a neighbor, someone we know is suffering from a crisis. They're going through a crisis. And remember, when we defined the crisis, we said it's not what you think is a crisis, it's what that person going through considers a crisis. When they feel they're unable to cope with, they're unable to manage, they cannot handle the situation that they're faced with, the circumstances, the event that they have gone through. Their mental, physical abilities are giving up. They need support. They need intervention so that things can be restored and stabilized. They can come back to being able to manage that. That's where you need to intervene. You have to be the one who is there for them. Crisis intervention is for all of us. It's not just for professional healthcare workers. People who are closest to us need to help us in our crisis. So in crisis intervention, the experts, the American Counseling Association, they tell us that there are 6 steps to crisis intervention. And it's a very straightforward thing. Every parent should know, every teacher should know, every school management person should know, educators, mentors, guides, murabbis, mashayikh, they should know, ulama, imams, everyone should know about these 6 steps. They're very straightforward. Maybe a lot of you are already practicing them. This just defines it for us. So crisis intervention is a very powerful tool. An unmanaged crisis can lead to further psychological stress, which can ultimately lead to a depressive disorder or other mental illnesses. And when crisis intervention not only prevents mental illness, it also helps people who are already suffering from mental illness to cope with the difficulty. So what's the first step? The first step is to define the problem. What we need to do is establish a connection between yourself and the person in the crisis so that they can begin discussing the issue. What that needs is you need to fully understand the situation, what they're going through. For that, number one, you have to be an active listener. You cannot let your own emotions or your own judgments interfere. You have to show them that you are listening to them without your biases. And this type of listening improves that relation between the supporter, and the person going through a crisis. The second thing in defining a problem is showing empathy. You need to show empathy to the person. You need to let them realize you are feeling what they're feeling, and you can see their point of view, and you're showing them that respect. You're not judging them, and you're not basing it on any biases, and you know that you can that they can come out of the situation. Give them some positivity. The third thing is genuineness. When defining the problem, people can see through you. If you're not genuine, they will think of you as untrustworthy. They will withdraw. The relationship will break down, and they will not further discuss the issue with you. And that will not help define the problem. You have to be understanding. You have to understand that there is a problem. You can't dismiss the problem. You can't invalidate the problem. So once the problem is defined, step 2 is to ensure the individual's safety. Make sure they're safe. So let's say if it's something as simple as a little child who has fallen down the steps, maybe a 3-year-old, 4-year-old child who has tripped and fallen down the steps. And now they're hurt. They scream out, Mama, or Ammi, or Abbu, or something. So the first thing is define the problem. Beta, what happened? Are you okay? Did you get hurt? And you listen to them. Where does it hurt? Etc. The worst thing you can do is that, why don't you watch where you're going? A lot of people just do that. So let's work with an example along with this. Let's say that there's a middle school student, a girl, and she is very close. She thinks she's very close friends with another girl. She shares her secrets with her. She shares her lunch with her. She tries to hang out with her. And it turns out, she finds out that that person held a party, and she did not invite this girl. And not only did she not invite, she didn't want her to find out either, and she doesn't want to hang around with her. Now, this can be a huge crisis for this girl, this 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old girl. This can be very hurtful for someone she thinks is a friend, and turns out that person doesn't even want her close to her. And so now the first step, you define the problem, you help, you listen, and how that person's feeling, how they feel about it. The second step is to ensure the individual's safety, to ensure that the person feels safe with you, that they can share this with you. This will remain private. They will not be embarrassed further. They will not be hurt further. So you have to give them this surety that you are safe with me. I will not embarrass you. I will not hurt you. I will not let you get into further trouble. I will make sure that I can do whatever it takes to help you. So ensuring the safety of the person. There are other examples where ensuring the safety is much more important. For example, a person gets hurt by, they might get mugged or robbed on the street. And now this is a crisis. So you ensure their safety. You should ensure that no one else hurts them. No one else approaches them this way. So you, at that level, until they get home, for example, you're helping this person get home. Then you make sure that they feel physically safe going home. They're not scared anymore, etc. The third step that is very important is to provide support. And support can come in various forms. First is emotional support. That is the easiest. So you give them that support. If they're hurt, they need someone to lean on. They need someone to understand them. Give them the emotional support. The second is instrumental or material support. So if they might need, for example, they might need food, they might need shelter, they might need a hug, they might need a friend. Give the sort of material support that you can. They might need money. They might need someone to pay their bill so that their electricity does not get cut off. All of these things can be crises. They might need someone to pay their children's school fees so that their children can continue in school, etc. Informational support. You can maybe give them information. You can guide them towards a source that can help them. You might guide them towards a certain book or a certain counselor or a psychologist or a doctor or another person in society who can help them. So there are different levels of informational support that you can give. So emotional, instrumental, and informational support are some of the ways to give support to this person. Step 4 is exploring alternatives, finding new solutions and navigating possibilities. How can we come out of this crisis? So if we're talking about that girl whose friend supposedly did not invite her, so you gave them the emotional support, you gave them the informational support, maybe the material support even, that maybe you took your daughter out for some ice cream, etc., or some treat, so they feel much better. Now you're exploring the alternatives. So what can we do? They can't skip school. Maybe you can talk to this person, say, is there something about me that, if you do not like to be friends, it's okay. Talk to the person. Is there a reason that I was not invited in particular, etc.? So at this point, you have to collaborate with the person so that you can come to these options. And it's better if the alternatives are thought up by the person in the crisis, but sometimes they don't have the strength to do that. So you can also come up with alternatives with those around them. Maybe they're some of the other girls in the class, etc. Maybe you're a teacher and you can talk to some of the other girls in the class. You have to cultivate positive and constructive thinking patterns. Lead them towards positivity, constructivity, and let them reframe their thoughts in a positive way. That is the goal of step number 4. Step number 5 is making plans. Work with the person to make plans to come out of this crisis. Okay, so for example, a person might be in debt. They might owe money to someone. How can you come out of this crisis? Okay, where can you earn money from in order to pay the person back? What sort of expenses can you cut down, etc. Number 6 is obtaining a commitment. Now, once you have come up with a plan, and ideally, like I said, the person in the crisis should be participating in making the plan. and then you obtain a commitment to follow the plan. And part of this obtaining commitment is to follow up with the person that they are fulfilling their commitment. So when you follow up on their and help them obtain a commitment and follow their plan, then inshallah they will regain the confidence and the strength and the trust in themselves to handle the situation. And alhamdulillah, now we have this person who's dear to us out of the crisis. So once again, let's recap. The first step is to define the problem. The second step is to ensure the person's safety. Third is to provide support. Fourth is explore alternatives. Fifth is to come up with a plan. And sixth is to obtain a commitment from them to follow the plan. And I would say maybe there's a seventh step or just 6B, that to follow up with the person so that they are fulfilling their commitment. Jazakumullahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.